This is the lecture video for Chapter 2, Atoms, Molecules, and Ions. In this video, I'm going to start off with a short introduction, and then I'm going to work my way through the 7 sections within this chapter, starting off with early ideas of atomic theory, working our way down to chemical nomenclature. There are approximately 118 different elements, and those are represented here in what is known as the periodic table of elements. These elements can be solids, liquids, or gases. We often categorize them into metals, nonmetals, and metalloids, and that's based on this color scheme that is in the periodic table. Some of these elements are not actually stable. They are called radioactive or even isotopes. And some are natural and some are made by humans in various sophisticated equipment. So what are the fundamental particles that make up all these elements? These today we know are atoms. And this is just one way we represent an atom, and there are many. We're going to talk about several models in future chapters, but for now, this model works very well. Back in the early 1600s, a scientist named Democritus, he developed a hypothesis that elements were composed of small balls. He developed this hypothesis based on his experiments, where he started grinding things up in a mortar and pestle, and he ground and ground and ground until the particles were smaller and smaller, until he couldn't see any smaller particles. He called these small particles atoms, the point at which matter can no longer be subdivided, the Greek word for indivisible. We know that's not true today. So, are atoms real actually? Well, in fact, we actually can see individual atoms today using sophisticated equipment. So here are just some pictures of atoms taken by different scientists. Most of these were taken on what is known as an atomic force microscope. And you can see they've actually pushed atoms around into these interesting figures. So what is our modern model for atoms? And that's where we're going to start off in the first section of Chapter 2.